Alright, you know what? I'm just gonna cut to the chase. Hello guys, welcome back to the second live stream of KSP Galactic Quest. Kind of a de facto sequel to yesterday's live stream that, to be honest, I kind of had to cut short. So basically, we're gonna plan a colony for Donk, an interstellar moon of Gerdama in the Deb system. Now, I've been thinking about also colonizing Drez. It's kind of a toss-up between the two, but in the end, I decided to colonize Donk. Mostly because of its presence in carbon dioxide. So I've been making a few modules off camera. This is Rainmaker. It's basically my hydrate splitter creates water, which then it splits into hydrogen and oxygen, or oxidizer. So you got the first one, it's a hydrate splitter. It gives me the water I need. And then my second Omni converter, my water splitter, it actually got updated, so now instead of creating the gaseous forms, it does the liquid forms. It also creates a little bit of deuterium, so for that reason I actually put some small deuterium tanks in here, just because I'd rather collect the deuterium. Hold up. Yeah, see, look, these contain deuterium. It's gonna be useful for fusion applications later, just in case I want to power the colony with a fusion reactor. Quick recap, we have a cargo drone meant to carry rocket parts and other cargo. I can swap it out in flight. I just like to call it the Titan. Kind of looks like the one from a vehicle from the KSP 2 trailer. It kind of inspired it off of that. I also do have a cryo drone. I call it the Elu because Elu's cold, cryogenic liquids are cold. I kind of thought it makes sense. But the problem is, I can't actually swap out the fuel in flight. I'm actually going to test something. I think maybe the Sterling ones might be able to do that. Hold up, I'm gonna do something silly. Basically, if I do keep shiny areas original, it only colors a certain part. So I'm gonna paint the entire thing yellow, and then I'm gonna paint the rest green. Uh-oh. Oh man, I was trying to make a pineapple. However, it kind of looks like a pineapple as it is. It's just mostly yellow and green. Okay, so let's start with methane. We get ourselves a probe core. I'm just kind of trying to see if I can swap the cryogenic fuel out in flight. I know I can do this for OPT spaceplane parts. Worst case scenario, I'll just have to build a probe for every cryogenic fuel I want to use. See, hold up. Oh wait, I can select the contents. Oh wait, hold up. This is actually huge. So this means I'll only have one cryo drone. This means I only need one cryo drone. Oh man, this is so annoying. I just want to connect it in here. Whenever it's about to connect, it just goes off for some reason. See, look. I got an idea. Some trickery. You're now connected to this truss. Get a bit longer. Duplicate the angular truss. Whoop. I'm actually gonna use a smaller one. First metal, you. I think that's all actually. Just change the color of this. The edge wear, gotta reduce it. This is the elu. Pretty cool. Okay, so I think we should actually start assembling the colony ship. I feel like that should be our biggest priority. Because this is going to be the big vessel that will deploy everything. First gotta test out how powerful these antennae are. Communications. The megaphone one, yeah, I feel like this should be far enough to transmit interstellar stuff. Okay. First module. Well, I gotta give it a probe core. I gotta give it a probe core, I won't be able to dock to it very well. I gotta figure out how to launch this on one of my super big launch vehicles. Oh, great. I just don't want the heat shield, that's all. Get rid of the parachutes, because this stage has big trouble landing, so I'm not going to bother recovering it. Okay, first we got this massive gravity ring thingy. Yeah, let's see how much delta V we get from this. I'm not going to make a video out of this. You know what, maybe I will. I mean, I'm probably not going to make another cinematic because that means we can have 2 launch cinematics because I am making another cinematic. By the way, you guys can hear me, right? Say something in the chat if you can hear me properly. My mic isn't busted, or if the audio balance is off, let me know also. Okay, these should work. Okay, yeah, that's enough. That's enough to reach orbit and return. Well, not really return. This is a one-way mission. Make sure there's no Kerbals. This is only gonna be orbital assembly. And yeah, let's do this. I'm really proud with this whole rocket. I love the way it looks, especially with the scorch marks on the bottom. It's completely reusable too, except for the second stage. I mean, it was originally going to be reusable, but splashdowns are pretty difficult because of the design. Okay. Let's try that again. Because for some reason the engineers decided to plop down the launch pad a little bit too hard. Maybe I need to make a stronger rocket. Wait. I need FMRS. And structural linkage. No, that's it. I'm enabling cheats. Unbreakable joints, because this is just straight BS. This should not be happening. Usually pausing it and playing it rapidly kind of fixes it. Okay, let's see. Unbreakable joints. Now the joints can't break. Don't worry, I'll turn it back on once we... Okay, here we go. Turn that off. And away we go. This thing's probably not very stable aerodynamically. Let's see what works. It's probably not that bad, it's just a very dumb looking rocket. Yeah, it's starting back spike for Also, all the fuel in here is for the recovery of the rocket. It's giving too much fuel to me, but it's enough to land, especially when we have the atmosphere to help us stop. This is going to be a much more interesting live stream because I'll actually be playing the game instead of just throwing parts together and saying they all launch eventually. And the whole reason I'm doing this in a live stream and not in a video is because I already did something similar in an episode I'm going to release. I haven't started editing it yet. But basically, a little sneak peek for my next episode of Galactic Quest. I'm gonna assemble an interplanetary vehicle into a cinematic using this rocket system. And I kind of don't want to do that again. And when I get this into orbit, I can just jump back to the lower stage to recover it. Where are we going? I'm constructing a colony ship that will go to Donk, which is the moon of Gerdama in the Deb system from Promised Worlds. You know, I could be doing this all automatically because when I did record the cinematic that will be coming next episode, I used MechJeb Ascent Guidance, so it's basically autopilot, so I can focus on all the camera angles and stuff. I mean, this upper stage is kind of rebuilt in terms of Delta V. I mean, it trickles the most in thrust. It's okay, not the best, especially for our super heavy payloads, because this is not the lightest drone we'll be sending. The biggest drone will probably be using the massive tank of carbon dioxide. And we can do main engine cutoff now because we are well beyond the carbon line, at least our apoapsis is. Then we can get into a great orbit. Okay, let's hope this fairing deployment is good. To be honest, I'm kind of worried that it'll just explode everywhere. I mean, is clamshell deploy on? That might... Oh, clamshell deploy is on, but I can just enable time warp and all of a sudden it works. I'm going to extend the solar panel. You know, this upper stage will not have any power, so I'm going to leave this upper stage attached to it for the time being. And then when I send up my second module, I'll decouple it and send it back into the ocean. This part won't be reusable because it's kind of had trouble with recovery, because for some reason, if you have an inflatable heat shield and it just touches or lightly grazes the water, everything on your rocket will explode. I have no idea why. It's just a dumb quirk with Kerbal Space Program physics. And there we go. Excellent. Now let me show you the real magic. Using fMRS, I can travel back in time to go back to right when I separated the stage. And then I can land it. Now, these landing legs I put in there because I was kind of hoping to do a boost back burn initially. But to be honest, it doesn't have enough fuel to perform the boost back burn. So these landing legs are just kind of useless. But they certainly look cool. Who knows, maybe we should put like a barge out there. These are only really good for water landings. I mean, I could try landing them back at the Kerbal Space Center if I had more Delta V. This recovery stage only gives us... It doesn't give us nearly enough to return back home. I should probably put some RCS ports on here. I did put them on the upper stage. Okay, let's continue our descent. Oh wait, hold up. This is actually where I crashed a booster. I don't think it was a booster. I actually think it was one of my second stages. I should probably also upgrade these grid fins because they're actually pretty small. In fact, they don't actually slow me down. I have to use my rockets to do that. Uh-oh, all the debris are entering my... Oh, never mind, they're not my physics range. Why is it spinning around so much? I should control authority limiter. There, now you won't be spinning around as much. It's still going a little bit too fast, so that's why I gotta... Oh, that's a little too aggressive. gotta use a bit of the thrust from your engines to slow down. Make sure you're touching the water as gently as possible. And there we go, we've landed this thing and nothing exploded. I'm really happy with this whole reusable rocket concept. Now I can just jump back to the present. Here we are, back in orbit with a little bit of Delta V left. A little bit overbuilt. You can go back to the Space Center and launch Module 2. And this module is going to be a lot heavier. I might have to make some augmentations to the first rocket, maybe making an expendable version. So this next part's probably going to be the most heavy. Oh wait, actually wait, no. This is just going to be our rocket part. Weighs around 200 tons. This one weighs like 400 tons, so very, very heavy. It's mostly the carbon dioxide that's heavy. This one I'm sure I'll be able to get into orbit. Using my super heavy launch vehicle. Of course I have to wait 5,000 years for all the textures to load, because I am using Reforged Materials Redux, which is what allows me to do heat tiles on space planes. I can also do these scorch marks and these stripes too, because you can color only specific regions. The fairing on this one is going to be a lot more reasonable. Now our Delta V is still jacked up because our staging is not accurate at all. Here we go. Move everything over. And it's a bit less than I was looking for. Sea level. Yeah, that's not very good TWR. I might have to give this a little bit of a boost. But how would I do that? I could remove these landing legs and use some SRBs. That might help me out. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to remove these landing legs. We're going to add some SRBs. First, I should probably paint these brushed metal. I'll be using the Pollux ones because these are decently sized. And you got overkill. They're still pretty good. It gives me a slight boost. Hold up. I think these burn longer than this stage does. That's gonna be a problem. Oh wait, actually they don't. Hold up, if we do that, turn out the thrust limit to say 80. We still have decent thrust in. Oh wait, hold up. I'm just gonna keep it. I'm just gonna keep it the way it is. We are Separatrons. Could be using these fellows. These guys should give us plenty of separation force, so these engines don't come colliding with the whole ship again. Okay, we should have enough Delta V. This readout isn't accurate. Love the design, thank you. Okay. Don't forget to auto strut. Make sure nobody's on board. Okay, I suppose we're ready to get this show on the road. Yeah, I'm really worried about our next module because that one's the heaviest. We'll probably have to ditch this whole rocket and launch something way more ridiculous. Probably something as ridiculous as my whole Eve ascent vehicle transport ship. If you watched Galactic Quest episode... Wait, hold up. Breakable joints. There, it's better. That's a lot of my gosh, it's so bright. See, look. See that radius of light? Man, why is solid rocket mode so bright in this game? It's like blinding. Imagine waking up at the Kerbal Space Center only to walk outside and just see this and being blinded for a couple minutes. Oh, I do not like that wobble. Always auto. Okay, a little rule. Always auto strut the payload because, believe me, even if it's not auto strutting, it will always wobble. Because any spacecraft that does not have auto strut immediately identifies as an invincible wobble of it, so always auto strut your spacecraft. The SRB separated and nothing exploded, so that's a big plus. Hey, all the little separation motors also have waterfall configs. But yeah, this rocket looks a lot weirder without the landing legs. I feel like the landing legs had a bit of depth, but they're not really necessary since I always land this rocket in the ocean, because I can't do a boost back burn. Maybe after this mission I can kind of revise this to make it a little bit better. I mean, Methalox is a great fuel, but there are better options available if you really work hard enough. Please ignore this visual bug. Okay, once you get into orbit, rendezvousing should not be that expensive. Okay, we kind of... Okay, to be honest, I'm gonna get a higher apoapsis just so we can rendezvous a bit easier. Can't reach orbit, and we definitely have enough fuel to perform a rendezvous. At least I think we do. I really hate it if we had to scrap this and do it all over again. Okay, get rid of that nasty fairing. I could turn. Appears that our reaction wheels are not very cooperative, so we'll have to rely on RCS for most of this. Okay, let's see. Holy ship 1. Okay, our relative velocity is very high at the moment, but that should go down when we actually perform a rendezvous by like a lot. This is my favorite series. Yeah, this is probably gonna be my magnum opus of my entire channel. I mean, stuff like Revival and Resurgence's Project Nebulon were pretty good videos, but this is gonna be a lot better. I'm gonna try to make my videos a lot better. And for some reason, this can't just fly in a straight direction. And we have achieved orbit. Why is there a sudden lag spike? Okay, now time to do the arduous process of orbital docking. Okay, I'm gonna have to make a completely separate launch vehicle for the next payload because it's by far the heaviest. I'm actually kind of glad I didn't do this in a video because this mission's probably gonna break me. Not really, I've done much worse. I mean, rendezvous, even with large vehicles, aren't that bad. You just gotta know what you're doing. And there we go. 0 degrees. Now what I gotta do is plot out our rendezvous. Gonna have to wait in orbit for a long time. And then we'll end up on the dark side of Kerbin. Not ideal. Sometimes when I kind of do random rendezvous like this without any form of planning, this often happens a lot. Usually it's not too bad. I mean, if I had Boil Off, it'd be really bad. Because usually back in the day when I played with Boil Off, I really have to worry about keeping my tabs on my electric charge usage, or else I lose probe control, then all my fuel vanish. It's just super annoying. That's why I don't play with Boil Off anymore. Also, it's kind of buggy, so that's another reason why. Okay, that's a good intersect. Now we definitely have enough fuel to perform the rendezvous. I just gotta be careful with how I do it. Did I just enter physics range? Is that why there was a bit of a lag? Oh no, now I'm entering physics range. Okay. Hurry up and turn around or else you're gonna whiz right by it, and that's not gonna be ideal. You know, I think we'll be fine. We'll be fine. Okay, I need minute now. I need hour now. Okay, I'm so glad I put a probe core on this, because it means I can just use the Lau method of docking. I'm going to turn off stability assist because RCS with SAS on has a habit of, especially with large unwieldy vehicles like this, makes it really hard to control stuff because it keeps forcing you in another direction. But I gotta do... Okay, we don't need this guy anymore, so we can just... We can just get Daggle now. How much electricity? Oh yeah, we have plenty of electricity. Okay, this is gonna be the painful part. Because these are a lot of rocket parts. What mod makes you able to paint only a certain area of your craft? So that would be Reforged Materials Redux. Basically, the best mod since Textures Unlimited Recolor Depot. Basically, what's really good about it is I can choose region, or you can pick a mesh, though this one's kind of glitchy. Region basically allows you to choose like a bunch of different areas, like from the top or the bottom or from the side. Okay, we'll go. this is just painful. Because SES with RCS is really annoying because SES keeps making your RCS point different directions to keep it stable. Because your center of thrust of your RCS is off. It's really annoying. It'll keep trying to adjust it. It'll keep goofing you up. Ah, boy, this is gonna be really nasty. Might get that mod? Yeah, I would highly recommend it. Ah, come on. Finally. Ah, come on, man. I hate when this happens. Like your prograde marker starts to drift from the target marker. Okay. This changes from the RP1 shenanigans. Yeah, I've never played RP1. Maybe I should play it. And look, we've docked. Oh wait, hold up. I kind of forgot to... Oh, I don't need you. Wait, I forgot to recover my first stage. Well, I can do that right now and come back. This is the great thing about FMRS. It allows you to travel back in time to recover your reusable stages. One thing I don't really like about Reforged Materials is that it takes a while to load all of the textures when you enter physics range. So whenever you load a new vessel, it will lag your ship out a bit for like a couple seconds, especially if you have a space plane with like a bunch of heat tiles on all the wings. But after a few seconds, the lag goes away, so it's not that bad. And also, if you're wondering where all these sonic booms are coming from, it's from a mod called Rocket Sound Enhancement. Deploy drogue chutes. Great. Please stop spinning my spaceship. Yeah, I'll slow it down to a safe speed. Ah, man, I thought we were gonna crash for a second. Still have plenty of fuel left to perform our final little slow down burn. Look at that. Baby smooth landing. Also, the parachutes do kind of help to turn it on its side nice and gently. And that is a textbook landing for water. I can jump back to the main mission. Wait, FMRS allows you to recover stages. Yes, so when you recover the stage, you can click jump back to main mission. I mean, if you're playing career mode, it'll actually give you the money back. So, hold up. Wait, what the heck? Did I press the wrong button? Hold up. I think I pressed the wrong button. I had a quick save lying around, so I could just use that. Yeah, I got a quick save. Yeah, see, look. FMRS recovery. See, if you're doing career mode, it'll recover all of these. It'll recover all of those for you. So that's pretty nice. If you're doing career mode, that means you'll recover all of your funds. Wait, where are these parachutes? Oh my gosh, I forgot to remove the parachutes on this version. Okay, we're in orbit now. So now it's time to send back. We're gonna send up the third module and the final one, and the most heavy. So if you're playing career mode, that'll allow you to recover a lot of funds easily, because you can just reuse your rockets. But I'm doing science mode. I'm just using it for the love of the game. Now, this craft weighs 600 tons. This module takes up for 2/3 of that. Okay. If you're doing stuff like this, where you have to dock vessels together, you always have to make sure the docking port is facing outward, because if you don't, you can't really decouple this. It's a mistake I made in my cinematic I'm going to release, but I managed to do a weird kind of thing to fix that. Okay. We gotta get creative here. I'm gonna create a new launch vehicle because the previous one, the reusable one, will definitely not work for something of the scale. First, gotta construct our upper stage. Give it as much power as we possibly can. Hold up. Should I use liquid fuel? I feel like liquid fuel doesn't give us the best ISP, but gives very good density. Use a bunch of rhinos for this. I feel like rhinos are the only engines that could give you enough thrust. Iron goes 4, iron goes empty. Ooh, that's not as bad as I thought it would be. Actually not that bad. I just gotta give it a little bit of extra fuel and then we'll be in business. TWR is a little bit lacking in a vacuum. Maybe I could add one in the center. Yeah, that's better. It gives us an acceptable amount of delta V. This will be a fully expendable vehicle, so I won't be doing any landing with this. Kind of a shame, because this will be the most expensive. Liquid fuel all the way. Now, what should I use for the first stage? I'm probably going to use the Orca. These engines. These are big, chunky ones from near future launch vehicles. They use kerosene. Oh my gosh, that's not nearly enough TWR for this. What do I do? Well, who says I have to use kerosene? I can do something a bit more absurd. Because a particular mod I have, that being cryogenic engines extensions, adds some very, very extremely powerful Hydrolox rockets. Like this bad boy right here. 5,200 kilonewtons of thrust. That's like ridiculous. Like it says in the description, good heavens, what would you need a lifter engine this size for? Stuff like this, apparently. So, we do. Let's see how 3 of these go. Okay, that's got that bag. We're gonna need a 4th one. It's good. Now, to be honest, these engines are a little bit oversized, so I'm gonna use the smaller Kunlun engine, I believe. Still produces a ton of thrust, but I'm gonna cluster these a bit more. I believe I need to cluster them a whole lot, actually. These are cryogenic engines extensions. Is a great mod if you like cryogenic engines by Ertea, but just want more. Okay, this gives me... Okay, we are not using... You know, I could use this as a rendezvous stage now that I think about it. But to be honest, I'm not going to. Okay, how much Delta V does this give me? I would say not enough. Okay, let's think bigger here. Slightly more Delta V, but I would need more thrust. So for this reason, I'm going to be attaching a bunch of solar rocket motors. I'm not going to be using the little skimpy Pollux ones. I'm going to be using the full-blown Clydesdale ones. These are the biggest ones on the market. Let's see, download some mods. Yeah, this is rocketry right here. Yeah, that gives us a Delta V we want. Now, before I actually launch this, there's some things I gotta do. Like, I actually need to put some reaction wheels and stuff on the upper stage, or else we won't be able to properly rendezvous this with Mothership. No, maybe I should have launched this one first. That probably would have been the best option. Give the whole thing a fresh coat of paint. I'll probably do that later. Now, first we need reaction wheels. So first, I'm gonna put some in the spaceship itself. Just 4 for now. Oh, not Chromo. Oh, hello, Chromo Vessel Viewer. I didn't mean to click you. Oh, another mod, Chromo Vessel Viewer. Allows you to take screenshots of your rockets. I click screenshot, wait a bit. This ends up in your screenshot folder. Great for making blueprints. Now, I actually need to put a probe core here because I won't be able to control it otherwise. Hello, it's starting to lag a bit. Okie dokie. Let's keep going. Add some solar panels. But we gotta see what's the center of mass here. It's gonna be pretty high up. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna put 6 of these bad boys down over here. Move the solar panels down further. These guys are on liquid fuel, yeah. But I'm also going to put a couple of regularly attached mounts over here that have RCS. Look up, I gotta move it down a bit. I should really get hanger extender. It's like one of those mods I always forget to add to my installs. Like, it's basically an essential mod for building stuff that's this ridiculous. Wrong button. Whole vessel. Brushed metal. This is basically the default material I use. Now, I really want to give this a fresh coat of paint. So let me show you how Reforged Materials works. So let's say I want to color a specific portion of this. I can just change the height and the cutoff. Like say I want to do it from here. I do it from here to here. I do region. Nebula blue. Spot brush. Press P to paint. Look at that. Just amazing, isn't it? Do the same over here, except I change the height a little bit. Do it. I want to do it here instead. . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . giving us a bunch of stripes. Sometimes it breaks, you gotta reselect region. Do a stripe on the lower end. There, we got ourselves a very nice looking spaceship. Sure, it certainly doesn't fit into our... Certainly does not fit in our VAB. But this is Kerbal Space Program. We can get away with really stupid things like this. And once again, we make sure that there's no crew on board, because it would be really tragic if this tipped over. It would be extremely tragic if something happened here, because this is we're using an open cycle nuclear gas core rocket, which isn't really the best to use in space because it's constantly spewing out nuclear fallout. And if you crash this on the ground, it's not a recipe for fun times. You probably have to evacuate everyone within a 50-mile radius, if not more. I'm not going to use FMRS this time because this is fully expendable. I think look at that. Beautiful, ain't it? How do you move the whole rocket part without selecting the root part? You press shift and then you click and drag apart and it'll move the entire rocket. Great tip for making ludicrous vehicles like this. Oh my gosh, my eyes. Yeah, if you thought the previous rocket was super bright, this is literally a miniature sun. I have no idea, why are solid rocket motors so darn bright? By the way, Avalanche adds plumes to these. It's a lot better. Okay, this is gonna be real fun. Either the motor separation goes flawlessly. Okay, hold up, auto stew, we have auto strutting here real quick. Auto strut. Up there go rocket motors. See, look, flawless. Thankfully, nothing exploded. I don't have much delta V left in this cryogenic stage. And I love these super heavy engines that are by cryogenic engines extensions. Has a bunch of really crazy options. Actually, I'll worry about our delta V readout right now. Will we be able to achieve orbit? Yeah, I think we will be able to achieve orbit. And yeah, I love the plumes on these. Right, wait, hold up. Ignore that plume clipping. Is probably a glitch with my restock waterfall expansion. I have to use this specific version because Sterling Systems is very picky about which waterfall restock pack you use. Okay, we will reach orbit with this. We will reach orbit. Though maybe a little bit tight. Like, we may make it with a skin of our teeth. Get rid of our fairing. I'm gonna make things easier for me and just toggle solar panel. Bam! Solar panels. Oh god. Okay, this is gonna be a little tricky. Now, how well can we turn? Actually, surprisingly well, considering we have a massive container of carbon dioxide, which isn't exactly the lightest liquid in the block. I'm not even using RCS, so this is a very powerful reaction control system. After that, I'm going to have to construct a new spaceplane to ferry a bunch of crew members. Here's some really nice... Oh, I overshot a bit. Oh well, it doesn't really matter. We still have plenty of fuel to spare. By plenty, I mean not a lot. Every drop counts. Yeah, not a lot to work with here. Though the rocket is looking a lot better because of this nice blue stripe here. By the way, I really... Are these extended? Oh wait, they're not extended. Okay, is that good? Yeah, that's good. Now we got Burn Retrograde. Okay, this is cheap. We will... This mission will be a success. Okay. And we end up docking on the daytime side this time, so this is going to be a lot easier. Oh, speaking of which, that reminds me. Gotta turn down my ambient light boost because I forgot to turn it back down. One, a few tweaks. Okay, that's good. Got to weigh a couple of orbits. What I'm doing with this open cycle gas core rocket is from Sterling Systems. This is the open cycle variant. It does have a closed cycle one. It doesn't provide as much thrust in ISP because the whole thing with gas core nuclear thermal rockets is that basically, you know, solid core ones like the Nerve, basically they have to keep the reactor at a certain temperature so it doesn't melt down. But what if you let the fuel melt down? What if you actually let it vaporize and become a gas? You can get a lot more efficiency because because the hotter the propellant, the more range you get, the more ISP you have. Now this one's open cycle, so the fuel is constantly being bathed in the... Oh, wait, hold up. Yeah, something happened. Yeah, the thermoelectric converter kind of turned itself on. Let me just... There we go, we should be safe now. Yeah, so open cycle gas cores, they have the fuel enter the reactor, it gets heated up a whole lot, and then you get lots of thrust, lots of very high exhaust velocities to get a lot of efficiency. Closed cycle, it keeps the fuel away from the reactor, but passes it over the reactor, not through it. So it gets very hot, but not as hot as it would with an open cycle rocket. Oh god, I do target. So you do lose out on some efficiency but you don't end up irradiating everything within a 500-mile radius. Man, this ludicrous rocket. I mean, I'm so glad I finally got this fully assemblable. Not quite yet. We're almost done. Okay, previous situation here. Got full charge, so we can just get rid of this. Bye-bye. From here, aim this towards it. We still have plenty of electric charge, though it's going away quickly, so we gotta act fast. Oh my gosh, something that's annoying is that for some reason vessels kind of shift when physics warp is active, so it kind of makes turning things around was pretty difficult. Also, this colony ship has a greenhouse. Very spacious one, so these Kerbals will probably never go hungry. Let's see how stable this is. Slowly but surely. This is really annoying, man. Almost got it. Almost. Almost. There. Got prograde. Now prograde is lined up. Oh gosh. The thing is, it never stays lined up for long. What the heck? Ah, sorry, I randomly got a pop-up. For some reason, Epic's Games Launcher wanted to get admin privileges and it wanted to get now. How odd, I didn't even click it or anything. You probably didn't see that because I have OBS configured to only record Kerbal Space Program, so it thankfully minimizes distractions like that. Okay. Going a little bit faster than I would like. Thankfully, I can just slow down. I actually got a lot better lined up than I thought we would. Excellent. Truly excellent. We've assembled the colony ship, rocket parts and all. I can just couple you. Now look, just because I decouple this entire payload, we go from only having 100 delta V to 1,000 meters per second to delta V. So that's pretty crazy how you think about it. Okay, goodbye guys. Now that might be on the end of the assembly, but definitely not the end of the stream, because I believe I still have a little bit of work that needs to be done. Now look, where are these decouplers? Oh wait, yeah, I gotta get rid of these. Boop. Gets me a total of 13,000 meters per second at delta V, which is, I believe it's enough to go to Dres, which would allow me to go to Donk via the wormhole. So it'll work. Just warp till we're out of physics range. And we got this stupid visual glitch again. I'll just ignore it. Okay, now I can go back to the Space Center. Okay, so this vessel still needs a crew. I'm thinking about sending 20 Kerbals over. Well, I'll have to check. How many Kerbals can we put in this again? I gotta check. So this whole vessel is just to get the colony started. So this is 6 Kerbals, then we got another... Oh, how many Kerbals can this hold? 4 Kerbals. So that's 10 Kerbals plus 14. That's 24 Kerbals. So I'm going to be sending up 20 Kerbals. Now, another little sneak peek for my next video. This is a space plane designed, heavily using reforged materials. It's called the Dart. Yeah, I'm not using procedural wings because it doesn't really play well with reforged materials, but even with the stock wings, they're actually pretty good to make with smaller SSTOs like this. Yeah, I'm probably going to stick to the Mark II form factor, except it's going to be a tad bit different. This will probably be the last vessel I design, then I'm probably going to end the stream. Nose cone. I could use the OPT nose cone, I'm actually going to use that. Premium hull. Gonna be going pretty fast with this. Using a long crew cabin. These will hold a lot of Kerbals. Lampatron. Yeah, what should I use as fuel? For my dart, I used methane, but to be honest, I might get better performance with water. See, look, this one specifically. I use methane in a closed cycle. It doesn't get me very much delta V. I need more tankage. However, if I were to add a bit more, if I just switch it to water, water does have better density. Gives me a little bit more. What about carbon dioxide? Like if I do the whole thing with a colony ship where it always uses carbon dioxide, does give me actually a little bit more too. Might use liquid carbon dioxide for this actually. Actually really depends. How much TWR does this give me? Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. How much TWR would this two of these bad boys give me? Toggle mode. So it's both an atomic jet at sea level. Okay, that might actually be a little overkill because these start to produce a lot more thrust. I'll probably use water actually because it just gives me the best delta V. Kind of think about upscaling the form factor, but I'm not really sure how to do that. You know, I'm gonna use methane for this, since I'm packing a lot of methane. Methane, it all uses methane. At the end, you can have this nose cone. You construct the wings. Have it be similar to the Dart. This could be like a Dart-derived vehicle. It's gonna have these little smaller wings sticking out. Do have to rotate them weirdly. Once they're in position, they look really cool. Yeah. I just got my shock cone intake. Hold up. I haven't unlocked the KARE ones yet. So I have to use the Mark II expansion one. Wait, do I have the pre-cooler? I do have the pre-cooler. Should I have the pre-cooler? Yeah, I'm not going to. Gotta do my delta wing. Maybe more of a trapezoidal wing style. I feel like trapezoidal wings look really cool. Especially since... It's a little weird when it's like this. I should probably move it further back. It's a little... I should probably move the whole wing section back. Looks cooler when it looks like this. What should I call this? If you have any suggestions to what I should call this, please give me a little suggestion in the chat. You'll have to subscribe to chat if I recall correctly, but if you subscribe you'll see more videos like this. I might be live streaming more, but I'm not sure. I'll have to see how things go. Avalon. Ooh, Avalon sounds cool. I like that. Probably gonna get that. In fact, I'll use that as the current placeholder name. Avalon. Now this is not very maneuverable because it has no elevons, but if you're doing slanted wings like this, use the elevon 5. It's just made for situations like this. Because it's actually made for use diagonally. So let's see. Okay. Methane. Yeah, but it's to be toggle mode to atomic jet. Okay, this should work very well. Except I should give it a radiator because these kind of tend to overheat if you don't. It's a little chunkier, so I'll be using a lot. I'm gonna do a Stirling radiator the long way. And I got myself some tail fins, some yaw control. You always need yaw control. Here we are. I just gotta give it a fresh coat of paint, some landing gear. Kerbal Foundries doesn't really play well at all with reforged materials. It just completely prevents you from applying any form of if you try to apply a coat of paint or anything, it will just prevent you from adding it for some reason. It's kind of annoying. Let's try extension. Get a smaller landing gear for the nose. Great. I believe all it needs at this point is a probe core. At this point, it just needs a probe. Does a Mark II come with a probe core? I want to say it does. I don't think this comes with a nose cone. Okay, I want this to be our battery, though. There's no need for solar panels on this because these are nuclear jet engines. Now it's time for the fun part. Whole vessel, brushed paint. Okay, first I'm gonna do the color. So region, I do this on the front, I believe, to color only this segment. Keep shiny areas original. Guy drink with the. Actually, I bumped it up a little bit. There's this. I gotta apply this all across the board with some parts. Okay, they actually apply way better than expected, but some parts like these, they're a little stubborn. You gotta change the settings manually. There we go, that's much better. Now we gotta do our black color. These are for our heat tiles. Now we gotta use dirt heat tiles. Now take a look at that. I made a mistake. I applied a coat twice. Now for this one, I gotta do the nose cone manually because this part kind of doesn't really play well with the rest. Dirt heat tiles. Excellent. Now I gotta do the heat tiles on the wings and the everything else. First, I gotta do the color. Now, when doing the other side, you gotta switch it. Now for the fun part. Dirt heat tiles. I forgot to do it for this one. Take a look at this. This entire thing. The underside. Oh wait, I forgot to do it on the... Wait, what? Next. Odd. What the heck? That's actually really weird. Weird glitch. Okay. Switch mode. I'm not gonna load up with crew yet. I'm just gonna do a simple flight test. Oh wait, I need to add RCS to this thing. Okay, what should I do? Where's the center of mass? Okay, I say we add one of these bad boys over here. First gotta do finish, whole part, brushed metal, color, can be the blue region. Heat tiles. Okay, now we got this entire... Wait, hold on. Why can't I save? Get out of here. We save. Okay, I got another one of these bad boys over here. The nice thing about these ones is that they don't actually need mono repellent. They can use methane because of Rational Resources RCS family. That's really good. These will allow. Now this will give me control, like up and down, left and right. Give me some roll control also. Want me to go backward and forward though, so I'm gonna need a few RCS things for that. This one's also compatible with RCS mode. Finish, metallic paint, brush metal. Oh, the whole part. And heat tiles, I'm doing the whole part. I'm actually gonna color it black first. Dirt, heat tiles. Yes, that looks better with normal heat tiles. Put this in the. I'll put one over here. I'll put another towards the back. Okay, I think we're ready for our first test flight. This is where it gets interesting. Give it a little bit to load. Take a while. Oh, good grief. I have to go back and revert because the space plane identifies as a spaghetti noodle. Always auto strut. If you don't auto strut, you will pay the price. Now it should work. Now it should definitely work. Yep, slight mishap indeed. Very annoying. Okay, let's get the show on the road. Why aren't we taking off? We have like all the lift we need. Maybe we should add some canards. Now, effortlessly breaks the sound barrier, so that's basically the first trial of the space plane out of the way. Now, I love KARE, the Kerbal Atomic Rocket Research something. Basically, at KARE or CARE adds a bunch of nuclear jet engines. Makes a mod of Mar, which means Jacob Mar made it. He also made Sterling Systems, Rational Resources, a bunch of other great mods. Overall, great mod developer. It's also compatible with Waterfall, but only in its atomic jet mode for some reason. Yeah, we may not get too much Delta V with this since you have a lot of tankage. But the good thing about this is that most of the work is done in the atmosphere. So at the end of the day, you don't actually need a ton of Delta V to reach orbit. Wait, hold up. What? This might be slightly overbuilt. Like, we went up super high, like, way past the carbon line. And then we started running out of intake atmosphere. Okay, this might be just slightly overbuilt. Maybe just slightly overbuilt. Just only a smidge slightly overbuilt. Hold up, let me start my fission reactors. Okay, so this is very overbuilt, actually. Very, very crazy. I mean, with stock liquid fuel, if you don't have rational resources and nuclear family, this is way more overpowered because liquid fuel is a lot denser. But, I mean, it's a minor glitch where the plume doesn't render and the reduce in the vacuum mode. But it still produces plenty of thrust. And it works very well. Now I gotta test how the RCS works. Okay, it works flawlessly. It doesn't even use my propellant, it uses methane. Now, how well does it re-enter the atmosphere? Let's just see how well it does. With all this fuel, it can definitely perform a rendezvous, and it will be basically empty by the time it needs to re-enter. How well does it fly? I mean, I'm not worried about running out of fuel because it has unlimited delta V as long as it's in the atmosphere. You know, to be honest, with how well performed getting past the carbon line, I wonder if I can do aero brakes just to keep increasing my apoapsis. So like I burn really fast to go into space, but I come back down, burn a bit more, but go back into space. Gotta do something similar. I wanted to do something similar with that with a scramjet engine. It's only a test flight. I still need a crew to rendezvous. Oh, I should probably also drain this monopropellant because I don't have a use for it. Yeah, better overbuilt than overbuilt than underbuilt. I mean, I didn't put air brakes on this, but the Dart doesn't have air brakes, mostly because it doesn't really need air brakes. You can just fly, it'll work. Besides, if you have like really bad flying skills and overshoot or undershoot, you can just use like jet engines to help you out. I kind of almost entered a spin there, but thankfully spin recovery on this is very good. We had to kind of a roll spin, but that's probably because I was using physics warp a little bit too zealously. Oh wait, hold up. We don't have control anymore. We have limited control because of plasma blackout. This is not ideal. I mean, I do have slight control over it. I can enter a controlled spin to get me out of plasma blackout. I gotta get out of that sick spin. Okay, MechJeb, save me. Okay, MechJeb is useless. Okay, something tells me there's something wrong with these control surfaces. So let's deploy inverted. Okay, I need to put a canard on this thing, because this thing is not controllable. Probably because the stock game is pretty stupid and makes these elevons keep pointing the wrong way. Okay, let me just get these tail fins again. Oh, I forgot to give these a finish. Hold up. Oh, it's just these fins specifically just don't like reinforced material. Oh wait, never mind. I just don't notice. Okay, now the Avalon should be really ready. It was nice watching this. Thanks for watching. You can come back later if you like. Thanks for watching all this time at Prismian. Okay, so now this should be a lot more controllable. I should probably also move the lower landing gear up a little bit. There, that's a lot better. Let's see how it flies. A little joyride. Now let's see if we can enter a spin and recover from it. I'd be going supersonic first. As we don't really fly this direction, you always try to fly to orbit. Try to enter a spin. That's something neat. You can't really enter a spin. It always just wants to fly straight. Man, adding those tail fins really make a night and day difference. There's a strut extension. I'll bump it up a little bit. Okay, now that was a great live stream. I'm actually gonna be ending it now because I am out of time. If you really want to fly in this space plane, I do need a crew for the colony. So I actually have a Google forum. It's basically, it will allow you to apply as a Kerbal. If you fill it out, I'll add you as a Kerbal, and you'll probably end up in this colony. So, I'm not sure if it's in the description of this live stream, but I believe it's in the description of every other video I've made on YouTube. Oh wait, hold up, I gotta apply some... I gotta do this. I gotta apply the thermal tiles too. Okay, unfortunately that will be the end of this live stream. Once again, if you do want to join as a Kerbonaut and go to this colony I'm constructing, it's a forum, it's in the description of all my YouTube videos. I'm not sure if it's in this live stream though. So if you fill that out, I'll add you as a Kerbonaut in Galactic Quest or KSP Revival if you feel like doing that. The new episode for that series probably won't come out for a couple of weeks.